ninth, 2 outs, full count, home team down by 1 as Johnston winds up to throw what could be the final pitch of the series. Folks, this is what they mean when they talk about memories that last a lifetime.
In the historic church of Thyatira. And our prayers, our love will continue to accompany His Eminence in every work that he does. And always he belongs to this wonderful town that knows how to love and knows how to offer a warm welcome, not only to strangers, but to the entire world, being the Epiphany city, as the mayor said, welcoming people every year, thousands and thousands of people celebrating the beautiful heritage that we have as a church and as a city. May God bless them all. Thank you.
Thank you, Your Grace. And now I would like to invite to the podium our Congressman Gus Bilirakis.
Thank you, Chris. I appreciate it very much. And Your Eminence, it's not my fault that I was late. For the record, my driver didn't pick me up in time. I know how much you worry about that. So in any case, folks, we are very blessed, as you know, here in Tarpon Springs. The one thing I tell people when I go in my travels, and of course in D.C., when you come to Tarpon Springs, you're going to find real people that actually, there's nothing pseudo about our people. Pseudo, you know what that means. Fake. You hear the fake news all the time. But in any case, and we try to do the right thing. And we don't always do the right thing, but we try to do the right thing. And then maybe that's why God has blessed us. Now, I'm not a theologian, but maybe that could be the case, because Christos has blessed us with very, very special people like His Eminence Nikitas. And of course, we've also had 2 archbishops that have graduated from Tarpon Springs High School, a member of Congress, several mayors, a rock star, and that's just off the top of my head, which is true. But Nikita, His Eminence, is very, very special, very special. And I was blessed to have grown up with Nikita. He's a little older than me, but not by much. But he was our babysitter. That's true, along with Johnny. And his mother and father were second parents to us. And, we just know that we were raised the right way. And the only thing I agree with Hillary Clinton on is that it does take a village. And this is a wonderful, wonderful village that we were blessed to grow up in. And we grew up in the Greek American bakery. And His Eminence, along with myself, loved the bakery. And we always think of the bakery. And I want to tell you, family, yeah, we have great family, but the friends that we have in Tarpon Springs, we consider them family. And it showed yesterday in church where, the first couple rows are supposed to be reserved for family, but there were friends in those couple rows, and they deserve to be there, because they're just as important as our wonderful family. But His Eminence is very, very special, he influenced me as being the co-chairman of the International Religious Freedom Caucus. I advocate for Christians and all religious minorities and human rights around the world. We really have a lot in common. And when we get together, we talk about the old days, the good old days in Tarpon Springs. He remembers a little more than I do, and we always try to. Another thing we have in common is that we always look for family everywhere we go around the world, and we usually find family and wonderful friends. But Uncle Gus and Aunt Callie had a tremendous, tremendous influence over me, as well as his brother, John Luyos, who did some wonderful things and continues to do wonderful things for our community. So without further ado, congratulations. We're so proud of you, Your Eminence. Axios. Ευχαριστούμε. Thank you.
Thank you, Congressman Bilirakis. And now I'd like to have our Consul General of Greece to come to the podium. Dimitris Sparos.
Ευχαριστώ, thank you. Good morning, καλημέρα. Σεβασμιότατε, Αρχιεπίσκοπε Νικήτα, Your Eminence, Archbishop Nikitas, dear Mayor Alahouzos, dear citizens of Tarpon Springs, dear fellow Greeks. Thank you for the great honor of inviting me to this very important ceremony. It is my third year here in Tampa, and I have to admit that I never cease getting pleasantly surprised by Greek Americans, and particularly of Tarpon Springs. Despite the fact that Hellenism in this area of the United States has already reached its fourth and even fifth generation, I find it marvelous that it still is faithful to the customs and traditions of its Greek heritage. What is even more worthy of praise is that the Greek Americans have not remained an isolated ethnic community in the United States. In the beginning, of course, they faced difficult times and many challenges. They demonstrated patience and worked hard and honorably. They were recognized and rewarded. Nowadays, they are one of the most successful communities in the United States. They are good American citizens and enjoy an excellent reputation. Tarpon Springs, the beating heart of Hellenism in Florida, proved once more its relevance and importance to Orthodox Christianity. Archbishop Nikitas, a native son of this city, was recently enthroned as the hierarch and archpastor of the Greek Orthodox of the Archdiocese of Thyatira and Great Britain. All citizens of Tarpon Springs, whether of Greek heritage or not, no matter their denomination or their beliefs, should feel proud of him. Your Eminence, I wish you success in this extremely challenging work of serving the Church and the faithful in these difficult times. Axios. Ευχαριστώ.
Thank you, Consul General. And now, ladies and gentlemen, it's my honor and a privilege to welcome to the podium our honored guest, His Eminence Archbishop Nikitas of Thyatira and Great Britain.
Good morning and thank you, Mr. Mayor, Theophilestate, Kyrie Genike, Mayor George Pridicus, Reverend clergy, brothers and sisters. I think that's the way to include everyone. It is indeed a great pleasure to be back home, but also to extend my gratitude for this great honor and kindness that you're bestowing upon me. As a native son of this city and of this community, Gus, I didn't forget you in the order, because it will come up later.
You don't have to worry about me.
But to come here, especially in this building, which used to be the middle school or junior high school in Tarpon Springs, because I went to Tarpon Springs Elementary, Tarpon Springs Junior High, and Tarpon Springs High School. A product of public education, but being pushed by parents who wanted their two sons to not only have an education, but a better life. And Tarpon Springs helped promote those values and those traditions which we still embrace. Not only me, my brother, but this community at large. Because Tarpon is a city about tradition and embracing. It is a city about tradition which concerns fellowship between people. People in Tarpon accepted one another because they knew one another. People never locked their houses or were afraid to go out. And if your parents weren't home, you just went to your neighbor because that family knew your family. And it is those traditions of fellowship and harmony and acceptance and community that still live in Tarpon, and it is those traditions which we need to teach to another generation. Because our responsibility, Congressman Bilirakis, is to leave the world a better place than we found it when we entered it. And your responsibility in public service, along with the mayors and others, is to help promote this idea of making the world something better and not something less. And we do that through various systems. And one of them is education. And we educate our young people, our children, and even the elderly in what's good and proper in life. And we educate people about what is necessary. And those are some of the things that I learned growing up in Tarpon Springs. Not only from my religious community as an Orthodox and my ethnic community, but also the greater community and the family of Tarpon Springs. And Tarpon is unique. Of course, it has its negatives, but it also has many, many positives. The negatives are minuscule and minor because Tarpon is on the road to perfection, and it is continuing to ascend that hill to reach the top. But in those communities and in those atmospheres of love and embracing one another, you learn what friendship is really about. And friendship brings us all together, not only this morning, but each and every day of life. And we learned some of those things in these halls and these facilities. And it is those types of things that we need to continue to promote and live as a community and as the people of God. Tarpon Springs also is unique. It's unique because it was, I'm not sure if it still is, the sponge diving capital of the world. It still is. It has the largest, look at population density-wise, the largest percentage of ethnic Greeks living in the United States. We've passed Astoria. Tarpon Springs is also unique because there are the sponge docks. It's a tourist attraction. Tarpon Springs has the great cathedral of St. Nicholas. And even the non-Orthodox believe that St. Nicholas protects the community from the hurricanes and the weather and so many other things. And it is by his grace and his embracing hand that Tarpon has never suffered disastrous situations because of hurricanes when compared to other places. It is a place which produces clergy and hierarchs. It is a place which produces congressmen. It's a place that produces people of education, doctors, attorneys, accountants, educators, on down the line. And these are because of the values that we lived and we continue to live in Tarpon Springs. I am a product of Tarpon. And you may say you've achieved many things. I only achieved those things because of my home, my family, the school system, this city, and the community. Because all of those elements and those categories are the ones that pushed my brother and me forward in life. In conversation this morning and in these days with my cousins, I said that education saved me. And it is the means to a better future. And education is indeed the key to something special and unique and a better life. And much of that came from Tarpon Springs. Education in a school system, but education in the realities of life and with people. I gained my initial experiences, of course, in this community, and then going off and being blessed to study and graduate from the great University of Florida. And you know that expression that the sun is orange and the sky is blue, and that's why God is a gator too. But to continue my theological education and to be assisted by the Rotary Club of Tarpon Springs. to be able to do graduate studies in Thessaloniki, Greece. Eventually to come and work in the office of Congressman Michael Bilirakis, and then to go on and be ordained and to serve the church. Tarpon is a place that I think produces quality people. And we see that in the individuals who come from this city. And that's because of what Tarpon really is. It's not a place to be called Fish Town or some other expression. It's a place of love. It's a place of harmony. It's a place where people know each other and I think appreciate one another in many ways. And that is because of the values and the meaning and the reality of what Tarpon is. I'll share a very brief story in closing that some of my family have heard. And when I was teaching in Chicago at Loyola University, there was a group of young people speaking. And I went over and started speaking with them, and they were mainly Greek Americans, and I asked where they were from, and one young woman said she was from Florida. I said, how interesting. I'm from Florida too. And I said, where are you from? She said, well, I'm from Tarpon Springs. I said, what's your family name? And she told me. And I said, I'm sorry, you're not from Tarpon Springs. Your family may have moved there. And she said, how would you know? I said, because I'm from Tarpon. And when you're born and raised in Tarpon, you know the families and you know the people. And I think that's what Tarpon is about. Knowing who you are and who the other is. And it was a blessing and an amazing experience to be born and raised in this city. I am in no need of an honor from the city. It's an honor to be from Tarpon because I think we're special. And I try to wear, if you want to say, that badge of Tarpon wherever I go, to be an ambassador of this city and to carry its beauty and its meaning and its fellowship, and I think the open hearts of the people of Tarpon Springs. I thank you, Mr. Mayor. Sort of funny to call him Mr. Mayor. And as I said yesterday, we both grew up on Orange Street, walking distance from here. And I'm honored that this city belongs to me in many ways and that I'm part of it. And I pray that God will continue to bless it and watch over it and extend His grace so this community will continue to flourish and to blossom. I would say I don't want it to grow because sometimes growth is not always good. To retain its uniqueness and its beauty, to remain what it's really about, and that is the people. And Tarpon Springs is about people. Again, thank you very much. I thank you all for being here today, for taking time from your schedules. Many of you took time off from work. And I pray that your bosses will be a little bit more lenient than I am, especially when waiting for people. When it says that we start at 10, we start at 10. But I do the same in church, that when we say 10, but I can tease Gus Bilirakis. And that's because his grandmother and my mother were sisters, that my parents got child, and I was his babysitter. And I'm surrounded this morning by family members who are here. First cousins and their children and other distant relatives. And I can tease them as I tease him, and I think also joke with you as I do with some of the clergy. Because life is about fun. The prophet King David said to God, "You have turned my mourning, M-O-U-R-N, into dancing." Don't mourn in life, dance in life, and celebrate. And Tarpon is a place of celebration. It may always be that way in the minds and the hearts of the people. My parents are no longer living, but my brother is. And for those of you who know us, you know the special bond and relationship that we have. And while I've given something back, he's given much more to this city than I have. And he continues to do so. And maybe we will build a stronger bond, Mr. Mayor, between the Archdiocese of Thyatira and the city of Tarpon Springs, so that somewhere in my archdiocese we will have sister cities, because I have a small archdiocese. I have Ireland, Wales, England, Scotland, the Channel Islands. So certainly in that small diocese, there must be some city, if there isn't already one, to have as a sister city for the blessed and the wonderful community of Tarpon Springs. Your Grace, please extend my gratitude to His Eminence the Archbishop, as well as to His Eminence Metropolitan Alexios, and I personally thank you for being here this weekend to share in the joy when I came home to Tarpon, as well as the clergy. God bless you all and keep you in His mercy and love. Thank you.
Thank you, Your Eminence. And now I'd like to invite to the podium my fellow commissioners, Commissioner Sieber and Commissioner Donovan. Your Eminence, on behalf of the City of Tarpon Springs, it's my honor to read and present you with a proclamation. The only difficult is the print is so small. So, proclamation, the City of Tarpon Springs, Florida, whereas His Eminence Archbishop Nikitas Lulias of Thyatira, a Great Britain, was born in Tampa and raised in Tarpon Springs along with his brother John, and are the sons of Constantine, Gus, Costa as we call him, and Calliope Lulias, and served the Church of St. Nicholas Greek Orthodox Cathedral. And whereas His Eminence Archbishop Nikitas attended local schools, served his church, and later in 1974 knew he wanted to be a priest after participating in the feast day of the Epiphany and retrieved the cross and received the blessing that went along with that honor. And whereas His Eminence Archbishop Nikitas, of graduate from Tarpon Springs High School, a graduate from University of Florida, attended Holy Cross Greek Orthodox School in theology, a Rotary International Scholar, graduate scholar of Ministry of Exterior, pursued graduate studies at the University of Thessaloniki, and studied the Russian language at the St. Petersburg Theological Seminary in Russian. And whereas His Eminence Archbishop Nikitas, after ordained, served as an associate pastor at St. Constantine and Helen in Maryville, Indiana, became the Chancellor of the Greek Orthodox Diocese of Chicago, Illinois, taught Orthodox Christian theology in Loyola University of Chicago, Illinois, and he was involved in numerous education community services, interfaith activities, and additionally, he was the Director of Development of Orthodox Christians Charities. He became the pastor of St. Demetrius of Chicago, Metropolitan Nikitas. He was also the Metropolitan Nikitas, who was also the Dardanelles. And he was the director of Patriarch Athenagoras Orthodox Institute of Berkeley in California. Whereas His Eminence Archbishop Nikitas, wherever he goes, he serves God and his church as a humble servant, educating people about the Orthodox Church and spreads awareness about the crisis of human trafficking and modern-day slavery. And whereas the city of Tarpon Springs is very fortunate, proud, and honored that His Eminence Archbishop Nikitas is from Tarpon Springs, and he's one of ours. And now therefore I, Chris Alajuzos, Mayor of the City of Tarpon Springs, Florida, do hereby proclaim Monday, September 30th, 2019, as His Eminence Archbishop Nikitas Julius Day. And se vas miodate. And also, Your Eminence, we'd like to present you with a symbol of our heritage as a token and support of an appreciation for everything have you done to Tarpon Springs. This is a symbol of sponge industry, is a symbol of Tarpon High School, and is also the symbol where we all come from Calimnos. Thank you.
Thank you very, very much. May God bless this city and every city in its neighborhood. And all
Thank
the
you.
people.
Congratulations, Siharitiri. Axios. In closing, I want to thank you all for attending today, and special thanks to Therese Hickey, to our city manager, and special thanks to Irene Jacobs and her team for organizing this event today. Thank you so much, and please join the freshmen that we have at the lobby. Thank you all for coming. Thank you.
I think we're taking out a picture. More official one.
In the historic church of Thyatira,